KK, you are the savior. We yelling black and gold to the Super Bowl. Black and gold to the Super Bowl. Black and gold to the Super Bowl. We yelling who that, who that, who that, who that.
Smell the gumbo. You're listening to Cajun Sports Radio.
You're listening to Cajun Sports Radio with Coyote and Lane.
Welcome back to Cajun Sports Radio. We return for a big edition, Dad. Crazy weekend. You're starting to college, pros, all over the world in football. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, my boy? Talking to you too much this weekend. We had so much sports going on. We were back and forth.
Well, you had
Unbelievable. All
well,
I
yesterday,
can say is unbelievable.
Well, you had championship Saturday yesterday.
Oh,
a huge weekend in the NFL, today.
Huge.
And I was surprised, first off, going into the college game of how well Auburn looked yesterday, coming off of that big. We all doubted them. Nick Saban went on game day yesterday, though, and said that he picked Missouri to beat Auburn. He thought even Missouri matched up well with them.
Yeah, well, I don't know what part you seen. The part I seen on the computer was he made Auburn look good because he said if Auburn, this is before y'all, this is before.
Yeah, but he said that. He said if Auburn wins, they deserve to go to the national championship. But he also said that Missouri has good numbers too.
Oh yeah,
on Auburn, they match up well with Auburn.
It was a good game at first, but like you just said, we talked about earlier today, there was no defense. What was that?
But let me go ahead and welcome everybody to the show. We appreciate everybody listening. This is Cajun Sports Radio. We are presented by BestBikeATV.com. Go check them out. We're going to play a little ad always, and we're going to take y'all all the way up to the Saints kickoff, which is 7:30. Any comments on the show, go to CajunSportsRadio.com. There's a comment section. You could put any. We appreciate Dwight put some comments last week. We appreciate it.
Yep.
And you could also go to Facebook.com/Cajun Sports Radio and put comments there. So we do appreciate everybody listening. Last week, we had a good week last week, and we're going to keep that rolling. Keep it going.
Yep.
All right. Pro, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to just go ahead and say, Dad's going to have to carry us in pro today. I'm just getting home. But big game of the day, 49ers Seahawks. I said it, the Seahawks are not, after coming off of a big win, which we haven't have to talk about the debacle last Monday night. We thought that we weren't talking. We were going to try to avoid that. But I said it.
No avoiding it. We got to talk about it.
Okay, Monday night, the Saints looked as bad as they ever looked in the last, 5-6 years.
Yep.
I mean, their offense has not gotten shut down like it did Monday night. It was terrible. There ain't no other way of putting it. But Breeze had 150 passing yards.
It was a complete disaster.
And no defense has ever stopped the Saints offense like Seattle did, Monday night. And then you flip the script defensive-wise, same thing. We couldn't stop their receivers. They were wide open all day or all night, rather. And
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dad. No, take the floor.
We need to do a sound check before. Is my mic coming in good?
Yeah, your mic's coming in perfect.
Okay.
You coming in loud and clear. Why? We getting some feedback or what?
Yeah, I had some feedback on my end, but if it's coming in good, thank y'all for listening to Cajun Sports Radio. It just been the game Monday night was just one of them games, Lane, the way I look at it, they pumped it up so much. We went to Seattle. It was cold, raining. That has nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. They completely shut us out. Breeze said it. Sean Payton said it. We got outplayed, outcoached. It was so loud by the third quarter. Even Uncle Scott, your uncle, said that today when I was talking to him. He turned the channel because he couldn't stand the noise no more. He said he ain't gonna better hear your boy holler the Sunday night game. He ain't gonna better hear Cam Newton's name every 2 seconds tonight either. You know what I'm talking about? You know how your buddy Hollingsworth, the announcer? That's all they're gonna talk about. Cam Newton. But anyway,
well, he deserves it though with the way he's played.
Yeah, we gotta prove everybody wrong tonight.
Okay, but back to we were talking about, it was really a segue for Seattle. We will get to the Saints game in a second, but really I was putting over Seattle on that one because of how well they played at home. They go to San Francisco, a team that the Saints beat a few weeks ago, and they have a dogfight with San Fran, and they couldn't get the job done. San Francisco beats them.
Well, let me ask you something, Lane. You know, you told me before the season this and that. Even last year, we went round and round on home field advantage. Lane keeps telling me, and I know that. If you're a good football team, it don't matter if you play home, away. It don't matter. But, y'all, Lane keeps putting that in my head, banging it, and I'm going to take up for my boy. He keeps telling me home field advantage. And look at it this year, Lane.
It all depends.
Excuse my voice. I'm a little hoarse. But, man, look at the home field, Lane, how much of a difference it is.
It all depends on which team is playing on the road. There are some teams in the league that can get hot, like Baltimore did last year, and win on the road. But there's some teams, if they're not at home, they're not nearly as good. And I hate to say it, but the Saints are one of those teams. They are. I mean, they're a whole nother team when they're at home.
I don't understand.
When they go on the road, they struggle. They have problems with playing conditions. But you look at a team like San Francisco that 9 out of 10, they're going to be a wild card team. That is a team that you got to worry about because they're used to playing in bad weather conditions. You know what I mean? But we have some big news stories that came in today in the NFL. This is from a source. Okay, Patriots had an unbelievable finish with Cleveland today.
Unreal.
I haven't even got to highlights yet. This is just me reading all of the news stories. But there is a source that says, now listen to this, Dad. How big is this? That Rob Gronkowski most probably has torn his ACL. Gronk.
No, like,
how big is that? That's what I'm hearing. They don't know for sure that it looks like that's huge for the Patriots. That it looks like he tore his ACL.
Honey Badger had to be carted off. That's so much football, y'all. I don't even know where to start. The Honey Badger had to be carted off, and that was so weird. He got
like I said, I haven't got to highlights yet. I'm gonna get to that later on tonight. But
anyway, it's just so much y'all football. Usually, y'all, me and Lane, we all day either I'm at his house, we talking football. You know, we always talking football, but y'all, there's so much going on now, and that's good. I like to get away too. And you know what I mean? And get away from football.
It was nice. It really was this weekend. Yeah, it was nice to get out and go out of town, and we had a good time.
You go out of town and do that. That is proud of. That is happy. But when they got so much football, I usually miss out and not watch. That's why Lane said that I got to drive the bus tonight.
Yeah, you driving the bus tonight. Driving it, man.
I try to took his place because I've been watching football all day, even yesterday, Lane. All the college games.
Well, I stayed on top of everything yesterday and today on my phone. I tried to watch as many highlights as I could on the go, but main thing, okay, let me go through these. How about Adrian Peterson. You said it. You meant to say Adrian. He gets carted off the field a while ago. And huge finish over there, Dad, between
I didn't mean to say him. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson gets carted off the field, and then this is his response. They've got the worst fans in the NFL. They were throwing snowballs the entire fourth quarter like kids. It was a bad feeling. That is according to Adrian Peterson. If you didn't see this game, I'm watching the highlight from it. There was snow everywhere. It was in Baltimore, and there was a crazy finish. I mean, it came down to Baltimore was up with a minute left. Minnesota throws a bomb downfield. They go up by 4.
Wow.
Then somehow or another, Baltimore gets the ball back and drives it down the field and scores to win. So there was 2 touchdowns on a field that was covered with snow in less than a minute.
I didn't know
How crazy was that? Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
So Adrian Peterson's hurt?
All I'm hearing now is that he got carted off the field. I'm not getting any information on what happened. But anytime you get carted off the field, it's not good. He will have an MRI. He will have an MRI on Monday. What were you saying, Dad?
I said you always come through. I didn't even know that. I was
even
upset
with me. Yeah, I haven't watched the first lick of
carded.
football today.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
the
honest.
Honey Badger got carted off the field. That I was upset because I like the Honey Badger. With
And then,
Arizona.
how about this? We go back to that Patriots game.
Then some. They find a way to win.
They scored 2 touchdowns in 61 seconds. They scored a touchdown, kick an onside kick, and this is with Gronkowski being out and everything like that. But they found a way. They're not winning pretty, but after watching some of this, Dad, I'm sorry. I've done lost faith in them, I think. With Gronkowski being out and everything like that, I don't think they're going for it. Well, actually, I'm watching Gronkowski tear his ACL. I'm watching it right here. He took a lick straight to the knee, and this is going to cause some controversy because the players are being told now to hit low, to not hit them in the head.
That's
and
right.
what it's doing, it's causing more and more knee injuries.
Yeah.
This is a big topic right now in the NFL.
They're starting
It's
to
huge.
hit at the bottom because they don't want to hit at the top.
You hit on the top, you're going to get fined. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this will be a big topic of discussion tomorrow. Don't be surprised to hear about this because he hit him square in the knee. And you got to wonder if that hit would have been made without all these blow to the head rules, you know?
Right.
And you can't, there can't be a fine because they're told to hit low.
That's right. Yep. So
But,
it's back and forth on that deal.
Right.
You know, they've been talking about that. They can't hit here, they can't hit there. They gotta, they just.
And then we talked about Stun, same thing. A touchdown pass with 4 seconds left inside. What a crazy day. I picked the worst day to miss football. We talk about Joe Flacco throwing that huge touchdown pass with 4 seconds left in the snow. What?
Lane, you should have seen that field.
I'm watching it right here. I'm looking at it. And then how about this?
Detroit game.
I'm looking here. Here's another big news story. Matt Prater hits a record. How about this?
Yeah.
64-yard field goal.
I was at Uncle
64.
Scott's when he kicked it.
64
He
yards.
broke the record.
He broke Tom Bency's record and Sebastian Janikowski, as well as David. There was 3 of them tied for it.
Yep.
Tom Bency was the first one to do it. He played for the Saints. 64 yards. But you know why he's not going to get a lot of?
He used to kick with no shoes.
Well, he kicked with like a little boot. But you know why he's not going to get any credit for it? He did it in Denver when the altitude is so low. Everybody says 2 of the field goals that were broke for this record, one of them is Jason Eden, were kicked in Denver. They say it's easier because of the altitude.
I don't understand that.
They've said that before.
I would completely don't understand that.
It's got to do with the altitude. Go type it in.
Really?
It's got to do with the altitude. Yeah, it makes a difference on the way the ball is kicked. Yeah. Now we have, how about this? You talked about it. Detroit, Philadelphia. Philadelphia continues to roll, and like Dad said, this game was a debacle as far as snow is concerned.
Can you imagine the Saints playing that?
And look at this. LaShawn McCoy, most single game rushing yards in Philadelphia Eagles history. 217 rushing yards in this game. I'm looking at the field here. You can't even see the game. That's how bad it was. It's so bad that it's hard to follow the foot. You can't see anything. Unless you had a high-definition TV, you didn't stand a chance. But go ahead, Dad.
Yeah. I'm looking at it real quick at the press conference with Tom Brady's talking. But they were like, they even shocked that they came back that quick.
Well, we're talking about the Philly-Detroit game, Dad.
Yeah, I know, but I just happened to look at the TV. I know.
Right.
Yeah, Lane, it was nothing but the lines. But I don't understand. How do they keep where you can see the lines?
Well, they continue
so much
during commercial break.
I see. I
During
wanted to
commercial
ask you
break,
how
they
they
do
did
that.
that. How
Right.
do they do that?
Commercial break.
That's how they got to do that.
Right.
Okay.
And let's look at why does Detroit not show up in the big game? Matt Stafford, 10 for 25, just horrible.
Young.
And how about Nick Foles? No more. He's not that young. Nick Foles finally throws an interception. He had that long streak. He threw like 19 touchdowns, Dad, without an interception.
He blew it.
He blew it in the snow. You got to give him a little credit. Main thing here, Philadelphia continues to find a way to win. Now, tomorrow night on Monday Night Football, you're going to get Dallas and Chicago in a big game. Dallas needs to win it. Dad, Philly's 8-5, man. I mean, his team has completely turned it around.
And Michael Vick's on the bench.
It's Foles that's doing it. They say he's up for MVP. He's playing so well. He's not turning the ball over. They're running the ball well, and the defense is playing awesome. They're finding ways to win. How about everybody was ready to throw Chip, like you said last week. Everybody was ready to throw him underneath the bus, and now look at where we're at. This is Cajun Sports Radio. If you're just tuning in to us, we are going to take everybody up to the Saints kickoff. Maybe a little bit before, but big Sunday night game. We will talk about it in a little while. We're just trying to break everything down to what happened today. Bowl games come out tonight. We'll talk about that. That's huge. We'll talk in a little while. Dad did his homework yesterday. We're going to go into all of the big things that happened yesterday. Nick Saban on game day. I got to watch that, believe it or not. That was so interesting. And we'll talk about that. Dad, Washington continues, man, to just disappoint. They get completely crow-hopped by Kansas City today. 45-10 at home. This was their third home game in a row.
They will boom them. It's bad over there, Lane. Lane, do you know that they're talking about running Shanahan off? Huh? You know that. Huh?
I don't blame him. This is bad.
Hey, he's done. Shanahan's done.
Well, when he goes, okay, his son's the offensive coordinator. You know when he goes, the son's going too. You can't just fire one of them. Yeah, you don't have to fire both of them.
They're going to clean house over there. I'm telling you.
Exactly. And you have to do it because I'm looking at highlights here, man. This is their third home game in a row. Now, keep in mind, this was another game in the snow. This was another game, Dad, that was played in the snow. There was snow all over the country today in the NFL.
Yeah, look at the Weather Channel. Even in Oklahoma, everything's freezing up. Yo, we've been having some cold, bad weather over here, too. Yeah. Even over here in Louisiana, it's been cold and raining.
But I'm looking at these highlights as we talk, and this defense and the special teams defense for Washington is just terrible, man.
It's bad, Lane. They have serious problems over there.
They do have some serious problems. In Washington, RG3, 14 for 20. But, you know, in that Sunday night game, 12 for 26. That Sunday night game I got to watch last Sunday against, who did they play? The Giants.
The Giants.
They should have won.
RG3, y'all. It's not just him.
You know how many passes were dropped in that game by the receivers?
Yeah, it's not everybody poor. You know, I'm going to take up RG3, y'all. It's not just him, believe me.
It's not.
Just him. They have more serious problems than RG3.
You see that Pierre Garçon? You throw that 20 yards, 20 miles away from that football stadium. He dropped the ball so many times the other night, and I'm hearing today he didn't. There were so many big plays that RG3 made the other night that weren't converted. I don't know what happened completely in this game, but from what I'm looking at stat-wise, RG3, 12 for 26. They're not running. Okay, you know why they were so good last year, Dad? Washington, offensively? Because they were running the ball well. Alfred Morris was running the ball, and it was allowing Robert Griffin to have some room. He was able to run, and then it was opening up the pass. They have no running game, like you just said.
That's right.
They can't do
I'm telling
anything.
you, they're fixing a clean house over there. And I'm going to tell you another place where they're going to clean house, y'all. And you heard it from Cajun Sports Radio. The Giants. Watch this.
I don't see it.
Clean house over there, too.
There's no way they fire Tom Coughlin. He's going to have to leave on his own. You don't have a guy that wins 2 Super Bowls within
Watch.
6 years, and they're going to fire him, Dad? Come
Scott
on.
told me the same thing. We were talking about that
He
earlier.
will not get fired.
Okay, Lane, here we go. I love this argument. I love this. How about this? How about the Houston coach? We didn't talk about that. Didn't he take them to the playoffs?
Okay, there's a huge difference
Yeah,
between
yeah.
taking
You're
a
right.
team
You're right. That
to
was
the
horrible.
first round. No, they
Yeah,
went to
you're
the
right.
first round of the playoffs twice. And you're going to compare that to winning the
really
Super
didn't mean it
Bowl
like that.
against the Patriots twice in 5 years? Is that really comparable?
2011, Lane. You remember
And
before
7.
we
He
talked
was
about
gone.
that?
He was gone in 07, too. They were going to
Yeah.
fire him in 07.
You remember? He was gone.
Yeah.
He comes back. He comes back
fights.
after the Saints. You
He's a good
called this the other night. After the Saints beat him,
They were
Lane
another team.
called it, y'all. He reminded me. So I ran to the computer and went, look. But I don't argue with my son.
Well, back.
A lot of times
Oh, you
he's
knows
right.
better than that. Well, back to Kansas City and Washington.
You mean-
Dad, your boy, Alex Smith. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, your boy, Alex Smith, he doesn't do it pretty, but he gets the job
shines.
done. 14 for 20, 137 yards, which is terrible. With 2 touchdowns. He finds a way to win. But look at this. Here it is, Dad. Jamal Charles, 19 carries, 150 yards. Okay. That's what won the game. You got
That's
in
what
these.
makes the difference.
Okay, here
just
it
like
is.
us. The same.
In these
You can't
cold-
just pass. You gotta have a running game.
Well, here's the problem. You playing in when you're playing in a dome, good conditions, pass the ball all you want. You're gonna make it work.
That's right.
But when you're playing in the snow, or like we were playing in the other night in Seattle, Dad, what do you have to do? You got to be able to run the ball. Now, Seattle didn't have to run the ball because they got to do what they wanted. But
right.
in the snow, Dad, and in the rain, you got to run the ball. And we're looking today at all of the teams, 9 out of 10, that came up victorious. Dad, they were able to run the ball. They were able to run the ball today.
I talked to
And
Tampa Bay. How about them? Did you see that?
that was huge, man. They
Yeah.
get a huge win against Buffalo.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Everybody's knocking on the Saints' door.
And how about the Bengals?
Yeah.
Destroy the Colts, and the Colts continue to just go down, man. Andy Dalton throws.
It's like after that
3
Denver
touchdowns.
After that Denver win, that was it, boo.
They were a whole nother team after that Denver win. They were
That
a
was
whole
it.
no,
What happened?
ever since Reggie Wayne went down, they've been a whole nother team.
Yep. Scott said that. Yep.
I've been saying that for weeks.
I told
You know?
Scott that you said that. After Reggie Wayne went down, it was all over with.
But I'm going through
Yep.
everybody the main highlights of what's going on. We're gonna go through some of the scores, but Andrew Luck, Dad, does it. 29 for 46, 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
He does it in a losing effort. Dad, you know who's been a huge disappointment for the Colts? Is Reggie Wayne. I'm sorry, Trent Richardson.
Yep.
You know, they traded him from Cleveland.
They traded him from Cleveland. He went over there. They ended up losing a draft pick off of this.
They did a lot to get his ass. I'm sorry, excuse my
Yeah,
language.
what?
They did a lot to
They
get him.
said, as of this
Today.
week, I'm glad you said this. He don't want to get hurt. I'm telling you, they had an article this week that Richardson does not want to get hurt. That's why he's playing like that. Yep.
Today.
I read it.
Listen to this. Andrew Luck throws for 326 yards, and I agree with what you said. Trent Richardson had 20 rushing yards.
Now, come on. now.
Brown, okay, in 6 attempts, Brown had 11 and only 4 attempts. You know who their leading rusher was in this game? Andrew Luck with 2 carries for 32 yards on scrambles. That is sad. They only attempted, and that's a Welcome back to Cajun Sports Radio. We had a little technical difficulty. We do appreciate that for y'all sticking in with us. We're going to get Dad right back on the phone here. We're going to continue. This is Cajun Sports Radio presented by Best Buy, ATV, and DirecTV.com. If you're interested in signing up with DirecTV, let us know at CajunSportsRadio.com. We can get you a deal depending on what's going on. Dad, with the bad weather and everything, the internet has been in and out. So it could happen again. So what we're going to do here, real quick, we're going to try to cap things up. We're going to make this into a shorter dip because it happened twice already, and I'm thinking it has to do with the weather.
It's drizzling outside. It's cold. I think it got something to do with it.
I'm going to go ahead and make this real short. Let's go into college real quick.
Yep.
Dad, it looks like it's going to be Florida State Auburn for the national championship.
Yeah.
What type of Jameis Winston doesn't get charged. He gets out of it. Conveniently Thursday we hear about that. And Dad, I didn't think Auburn was going to go into that game and win it. What did you see in that game from Auburn?
Well, what I seen, Lane, you're right. Everybody, even I'm one of them, said after the Georgia game, they had that last play anyway. They win the game. Okay, they go to play Alabama. Everybody, there's no way. They conveniently beat Alabama. Well, we talking at week 2. They say, well, look, it's over. They're going to go to SEC championship. That luck done ran out. They flying too high. There's no possible way they're going to beat Missouri. Well, guess what? Who would have ever thought, and I repeat, the game would be 42-59? No.
It was neck and neck for a while. It was neck and neck, wasn't it?
It stayed close, Lane. Wait, there's no defense. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know. They're talking about that new offense they got or whatever. But, Lane, how do you score 42 and 59 points in an SEC they broke championship game?
Well,
so high.
First off, you got to talk about this. Trey Mason. Listen to Trey Mason's stats. He had 46 carries for Auburn. You know how many rushing yards he had? 304 rushing yards with 4 touchdowns.
Stop him.
He was the man in this game. And let me tell you something. Here's the deal. Nick Saban came on game day yesterday and said that fast pace that Gus Malzahn likes to roll ate him up. He admitted it on national TV. He said for Nick Saban to go on national TV and say Auburn controlled the pace against us, and that's what they do. And Dad, this team to go in and play a good Missouri team just showed that as the SEC going. Okay, this game, in my opinion, completely defined the year that the SEC had this year. The defense in the SEC, I don't care what anybody says, was down. The SEC did not have the defense it normally has. Look at what Alabama did defensively. Look at what LSU. That's 2 teams right there that normally have good defenses. A&M's defense was garbage. I mean, Dad, this really defines the SEC. It's funny that it was such a high-scoring game, but that's how the SEC has been all year long.
That's right. And Lane, it was like we watched the game in Sheila. I was like, what's going on here? Now, Lane, let me tell you something. This is after halftime. They really started scoring. You know what I mean? After halftime, it was like that was no defense, man. I was like, whoa.
It was in the 30s at least in the first half.
Yeah,
I checked the score. I checked the score at like the second quarter, and they had already put up 28 points apiece. I mean, it was crazy. The first half is when they were doing the scoring.
Well, I said that, but I guess that was so much. I guess I don't know, but all I know is I'm tired of fighting Auburn. I ain't fighting them no more.
Me either. We fought them how many weeks in a row, and look what they've done.
And do they deserve to win all that? What I've seen now. I got to watch your boys, Florida State, play last night.
Yeah, but
Let's face it, they played
Duke.
Duke
Exactly.
That's the first time they win 10 games in history. 10 games in history. But let me tell you something. The way Auburn's playing, they ain't going to stop them. Now, all these weeks off, I have no idea. But Lane, real quick, you know what was a good game? That Oklahoma and Oklahoma State game I got to watch.
Big upset.
Very, very good game. That
upset.
Was an upset. A lot of
Oklahoma derailed. Oklahoma had nothing to lose. They screwed Oklahoma State's season, which means now it looks like Baylor's going to get that good bid. They're going to get that at-large bid.
That's right.
Baylor blows out Texas. No, they're not going to play us. They're going to the BCS now. Baylor beat Texas, Oklahoma State. So there's no LSU Baylor in the Cotton Bowl. That's over with now.
No, that's what I'm anxious to see.
It's going to be possibly LSU, Oklahoma State in the Cotton Bowl, possibly. And how huge would that be, considering the fact Les Miles coached there?
Yep.
1. 2, we should have played them in the national championship a few years ago. How about this Ohio State-Michigan State game? Ohio State, it's been 2 years since they lost a game. They play in the Big Ten championship, and they play a good Michigan State team who never went down, Dad. Michigan State beats Ohio State and ruins Ohio State's national. And guess what?
Urban Meyer, his face. He couldn't believe it, man. He couldn't believe it.
And this was a dogfight, this game. I'm watching the highlights here. I watched a little bit of it earlier.
It was unbelievable.
This was a dogfight of a game back and forth. But you know what happened? Michigan State's defense showed up late in that game and made a big play. Something that Ohio State didn't have to worry about all year. They did not face a defense that could show up or a running game like Michigan State had.
That's right.
And look at Urban Meyer. You see a big picture of him right here. Dad, he ruined everything 2 years in a row. He blew it. There ain't no other way of putting it. He blew it. He was going to the national championship. Now, let me ask you this.
You were looking at Florida State and Ohio State in the national championship.
Regardless of how good Auburn looked yesterday, it doesn't matter because Ohio State played a good Michigan State team. They would have still put them in a national championship versus Florida State. But I'm so happy because guess what?
Hold on. Say that again. You think if Ohio State would have won, they still would have put Auburn?
No, I didn't. I said if they would have had to still put Ohio State. Like Ohio State would have still been even as good as Auburn looked.
Okay.
No. But what's interesting is that SEC streak that we said was in jeopardy last week here on Cajun Sports Radio finds a way to get it done.
They still got a piece of the check.
The SEC will it's going to be Florida State, Auburn. Dad, I don't see it. Auburn's going to get the job done here. I hope so badly that Florida State, the quarterback's going to win the Heisman, which is going to kill everything. That's going to kill everything. And he's going to go to the head, you know how they are. And it's going to kill the momentum for him. He got out of that deal, and I don't care what happened. If he did it, if he didn't do it. That case that he's going through.
He ain't charged for it, so guess what?
It's still an inconvenience for him. It's still going to be something that he's going to have to answer questions about going into that national championship game, and it's going to be a distraction in that game. Bottom line.
And look, like, the way Auburn's rolling right now, look, man, they are playing some good football. And like Les Miles said, the only loss they got is against us. So guess what? He's still flying high.
Flying high. And guess what?
Still flying high. The only loss Auburn got is against the LSU Tigers.
I mean,
and that's true.
How crazy is that? But
that's
tell you
unreal. That's unbelievable. Lane, who do you think Alabama's going to get?
They're going to get a BCS game.
Yeah, but who?
Okay, we look at the final BCS standings, which come out tonight.
Yep.
Alabama will be... Well, hold on. It's going to get interesting. Since Ohio State... Okay, Ohio State lost.
Yep.
Which means Alabama will get the 3 seed.
That's right.
They'll be in the Sugar Bowl at number 3.
That's
so they'll be in the Dome. They will likely play the Big East team. They always in the Sugar Bowl when SEC versus Big East. So they'll probably get to play Louisville maybe, or no, UCF. They'll play a team that they're going to slaughter.
Yeah, see, that's why I want to mention that real quick. That's what I don't like. It threw everything completely off when Alabama was going to get a team. Well, let's face it, y'all. Alabama's still the best team out there. Sorry, they are.
The best team in the country, no doubt about it. But
best team in the country. They
Auburn
just want the best.
I don't know, though, Dad. Auburn, they have, in my opinion, proved themselves after what they did Saturday. They show me that they deserve it. They deserve a shot.
And you know what, Julian? I even said that last night. Even, and I might be wrong.
Well, we're getting close to taking a break here, but go ahead.
Ohio State, even if they would have won this game, tell me if I'm right. Even if Ohio State would have won this game, say by 3 points, the way the Auburn Tigers scored that much, I think they would have leapfrogged. You heard this from Cajun Sports Radio.
Well, it is possible, but the only reason why I don't see it happening, one, Ohio State played a top 10 team in Michigan State. And Michigan State looked good last night. This would have put Ohio State at 2 years in a row of being undefeated. There was question marks. They didn't play anybody. They had the schedule. There was question marks about Ohio State. I was one of them. They haven't really been challenged. But I wanted to see them play Michigan State. I wanted to see them have a shot because they went undefeated 2 years in a row. Urban Meyer had not lost a game over there yet, Dad. He was undefeated. He had not lost yet. But I'll tell you what. It's very simple. But real quick, instead of taking a break with the weather and everything bad, we're going to try to hurry things up. This is Cajun Sports Radio. Check out bestbikeatv.com and directtv.com. Dad, we got to, with the weather and everything, I don't know what you're trying to send me here. We can't.
Go ahead and talk. I will be back in a minute.
I tell you what, I'll go ahead and play a quick commercial. We'll come right back. How about that? This is Cajun Sports Radio. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
You're listening to Cajun Sports Radio with Coyote and Lane.
Smell the gumbo? You're listening to Cajun Sports Radio. Hosted by...
Hey, it's Lane from Cajun Sports Radio, and right now we have to talk about Best Bike ATV. This is something that you need to know about. Best Bike ATV is a full-service mechanic shop, locally owned and operated, specializing in the repairing of most ATVs, dirt bikes, and motorcycles. They sell a full line of aftermarket as well as factory parts and accessories. They have a factory-certified mechanic on duty at all times. They are an authorized high lifter, Gorilla, STI, and ITP dealer. They are located on Highway 1 in Echo, Louisiana, about 7 miles north of Marksville. Their operating hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit their website at www.bestbikeatv. Contact them at 318-597-9022. Once again, www.bestbikeatv.com. 318-597-9022. You're going to want to check them out. You will be very impressed. Tell them that Lane from Cajun Sports Radio sent you. Thank you.
Smell the gumbo? You're listening to Cajun Sports Radio.
How can I ever change things that I feel? If I could, maybe I'd give you my
You're listening to Cajun Sports Radio with Coyote and Lane.
when you won't take it from me. You can go your own way.
All right, we back here. Cajun Sports Radio. We're calling this episode December to January, and that's for a reason. Because it's like in college football, you go from December straight to January because we have the big break, and nothing happens in college for that whole month. But, you know what I'm saying, Dad?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because nothing's going to go on for that whole month, but we're still going to have another game. You know what I mean? So we're going to go straight in December to January. A lot of pro, but December to January, a lot of stuff going on in pros. College will start the bowl games, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But right into it, we're going to go ahead, say the NFL scores real quick, and then get into the Saints-Carolina breakdown. That game tonight, 7:30 NBC, Saints fans, and the Saints are favored right now by 3 points. That is a spread. Okay, Colts lose a big one to the Bengals, 28-42. Huge loss that on the road. Green Bay gets barely under Matt Flynn, 22-21. A win over the Atlanta Falcons.
Lane, real quick. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is coming back this year?
No, I don't.
Okay. I didn't know the last,
I don't.
What the
No.
doctor said. Okay, so okay.
It doesn't look good, no, because it doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, so
and
why?
They're not going to take the chance. So Matt Flynn,
Right.
you'll get to try to make you some more money and have maybe another shot. He didn't look bad today. 24 for 32, 258, 1 touchdown.
They pulled it out.
They pulled the win, and don't be surprised if Matt Flynn is going to get another shot next year to start for a team. He'll make some more money. He's getting paid.
Home, boo.
He's getting paid by 3 teams right now. He's still getting paid from Seattle. He's still getting paid for Oakland, and now he's getting paid by Green Bay. So, because all of those contracts he was in, they had to pay a penalty on him because he had guaranteed money on the bonus. Browns, Patriots. Patriots get the win 27-26 in that snow. 2 touchdowns late for the Patriots under a minute, but that and the more important thing, Gronkowski done for the year. Looks like with an ACL. With a knee hit directly to the knee, and that's like I said, this will be a huge topic of discussion tomorrow on the Sports Radio. But do you ever know what these Jets are going to do? Jets 37, Raiders 27. Geno Smith gets pulled last week, comes into this game, he's unreal. He's an awesome guy. He lifts the spirits. He has some good throws, does some big things. Chris Ivory has a decent day, finally. 18 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown.
Last big game was against us.
It was. And that's sad when 76 yards is a big day. But we talked about it earlier. Detroit doesn't get it done, but here we go. Detroit is an inside team. They had to go to Philadelphia in the snow, and they couldn't play with them. They could not play in the snow. Detroit has the same problems we have. They cannot play on the road. They have the same problems that we have because they play inside. Same thing. Philly Dad continues to roll under Nick Foles.
Well, they're rolling too late. Well, no, I say that.
No, they 8-5.
They in. You got the Giants. You got Dallas. They still.
All you got is the
still
Cowboys.
in there, boo.
God, they 8-5, man.
Yeah.
They got a shot at the wild card now. But I think they're playing better than Dallas. I think they could maybe pass Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas.
How about Pittsburgh getting a big loss against Miami? Miami gets a big one, but in the main big picture of it, Pittsburgh drops another one and now pretty much eliminates themselves out of playoff contention. How about Miami, Dad? With everything going on, they're still finding a way to win.
They find a way to win.
I think that says a lot about that team, with the whole incognito story and everything that happened with that. But you talked about it.
Last
Tampa Bay, 27-6. Mike Glennon gets a big, he has a big game, a big performance. I know it's only Buffalo, but Tampa Bay has won 4 of their last 5 games.
That's right.
We talked about another snow game. Bad Washington. Defense struggling, problems with the coaching staff. Kansas City, they've lost 3. Oh, yeah, they're going to clean house. Kansas City has lost 3 games, 2 of those games to Denver. Gets it done, Dad. They needed that win. It gives them 10 wins, and it puts them in a really good spot. Even though this game was in the snow, it was a big win for Kansas City to go into Washington and get their 10th win because now it kind of locks down that wild card spot for them, Dad. And can you imagine if they would have went to Washington and lost 4 in a row? Can you imagine that?
We knew that one.
Baltimore and Minnesota. If you get a chance to watch the highlights tonight, this is one that you're going to want to watch.
That was just the whole field was covered with snow.
There's like 4 games there where the whole fields were covered in snow. But bottom line, Baltimore scored that. You said it a couple of weeks ago. Baltimore is getting hot. You're right.
They do it every year.
They are getting hot, and they look like a whole other team. They don't win pretty, but they score a touchdown. Both teams score a touchdown in under a minute.
Yep.
29-26. Minnesota is one of those teams that their record really doesn't show how good they are. I know they're only 3-9, Dad, but at times they've looked good.
Yep.
Titans Broncos. I'm gonna try to hurry up and get this done earlier, so I have a shot to take a bath before the game. But Titans Broncos.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I just thought I'd let everybody know that. Titans 28, Broncos 51. Denver.
Lane At one time, it was a close game. You know that.
Well, it didn't end up close. That's all that
No,
matters.
no. I was at Scott's. It was close.
That's fine. That's fine, but the game didn't finish close. Denver
after
scored
Yep.
17 points in the fourth quarter.
That's
Denver,
what happened at the end, but I ain't.
Tennessee didn't
Go
score
ahead.
any.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let's just wrap these scores
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Denver, John Fox's first game back, Dad. They get a John, and Matt Prater breaks NFL history. The 64-yard field goal. Arizona continues to roll. They are now a team to watch out for. 8-5, competing with Philly. But guess what? They lost to Philly last week. 30-10 over the Rams. I did hear that. I haven't got any info on that.
Yeah, but it's so weird. Like, it's so weird. He got hit. Okay, he got hit. He fell. Okay, so they were going to take him off the field for his replacement. He was walking off the field. When he went, he was almost to the sidelines. He fell. That was it.
Not good. Not good.
That ain't good. Go ahead.
No. Dad, you talked about it. Is Tom Coughlin in hot water? I say no. Dad says yes. This is a great battle. This is going to be a great battle. He gets absolutely destroyed in San Diego. 14-37, Dad. 14-37.
I keep
Over San
saying
Diego.
it, but here you are. You tell you got Super Bowl.
You say, okay,
That's-
you stick with
that's
your side. I'm going to stick with mine. I say no way he gets fired.
I
Now,
think
does
he's
he
going.
resign?
He can't keep doing this.
No, there's a difference. He might resign. No way he gets fired.
Oh.
He
They
resign.
might just not give him no choice, right? They'll just walk up to him and say, look, it ain't going right. Let's go
I don't
our
see how
separate
you
ways.
do that.
You're right. They're not going to fire him. You're right.
I just
But
don't see
he's
how you
going to
do
resign.
that. And the game, it was your big late game on Fox. Big 325 late game on Fox. Dad, we talked about it. Seattle goes into New Orleans goes into Seattle on Monday night. Annihilates them. In a game that everybody was looking forward to. It turned out to be a blowout. Go into San Francisco. I called it. San Francisco has been hot. There ain't no line. They have been, in my opinion, with them and the team that's playing in a little while, Carolina have been the two hottest teams in the NFC as of late.
Yep. Scares
Dad,
you.
at home, find a way to beat Seattle. That's all that matters. It
Yep.
was a sloppy game. Your boy Russell Wilson did not look like the Russell Wilson that we've seen on Monday Night
How do
Football.
you have a game like they did last week and
That's football.
completely
At home,
go the other way?
they are a different team at home. And this was a
Say that,
defense.
I don't want to hear the 12th man either.
Well,
Don't even start with that.
Russell Wilson's undefeated at the 12th man. And look what they did to the Saints. But this was your big late game. San Francisco didn't do anything special on offense. They kicked field goals all day.
They kick field goals.
Phil
The
Dawson.
defense.
The defense
right?
won. And that's the thing that scares me with San Francisco. As good as their defense is, Kaepernick is not doing the things that he was doing last year. And they're not running the ball as good as they were last year. They're winning games with their defense. And
That's right. Just like Carolina.
same thing. I don't know what's going to happen here. And I say that they aren't running the ball. Frank Gore, 17 carries for 110 yards.
Well, did
Let's take
you
that
see?
back.
Yeah, but did you see that last play he did? That's how they end up coming back.
Yeah,
He ran
I
it
did
for
see that.
40-something yards.
I did see that. Okay,
You know?
tonight, Sunday night football, NBC kicks off in a matter of minutes. Dad, Carolina comes into New Orleans. What happens after the Saints debacle of the loss last week?
Well, they need to regroup and hurry up. And I know they had that bad game. They didn't have much time. Their plane ended up not something. You know what it was, Lane? The windshield or something with the plane. They had to redo the windshield. Anyway, they didn't get back to New Orleans till 3:30, 4 o'clock. Let me break it down real quick. Total yards, y'all. Offensive, passing. Carolina, 327.8. Okay? Saints, no problem, 396. Everything's close, 0.1.
That's per game, by the way.
Yeah. Now, this is what I'm worried about, y'all. This is what scares me. And Lane is saying, rushing yards, 129.3, Saints 93.
That's not
Now,
what scares me. It's what they're doing
Their
defensively.
defense. Y'all,
Okay.
I didn't know. Lane brought it to my attention this week.
I told
They
y'all.
ranked
And
second in the NFL. I thought they were
I
fifth or
told you
sixth.
this. I told you this. This defense has been hard-nosed. They have been winning because of 3 things. Defense, running game, and the fact that Cam Newton isn't losing games. He's not turning the ball over. That's how they're doing. He's not doing anything special. Cam Newton's just not turning the ball over. He's not making the stupid plays.
And they win the last 2 minutes of the game. I don't understand this.
Tonight, I was at. How about this? Went to the aquarium today. I was on the side of the Superdome just hours ago. The dome was the city of New Orleans just wasn't rocking today, though. I have to say it was misty. It was not rocking. It was misty outside. It was nasty. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised. 2:00. No, 1:30, something like that. 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Hold on, Lane. You're right, because usually they party all day. They start like a day.
Not humming. People were out, but they were quiet.
That scares me, Lane.
It wasn't humming. Well, let me tell you why New Orleans wasn't humming. It looked like, and this went on all day, you couldn't see anything in New Orleans. The fog was so bad you couldn't even see the dome from the interstate. Oh, okay. It was misty and foggy. It was just depressing weather. Does that have an impact tonight?
The dome's full. They better show him Cam Newton. They better play some football. Lane, how was the aquarium real quick? Was it nice?
Overrated. 2 things.
Okay,
they
you
were doing
remember
construction.
when Dad took you there when you were small?
You know how you walk into that tunnel and the fish is all around you? That was under construction. So, other than that, it was...
What did you say about the whole operation? Thank you.
We had a good time, though. It was something fun to do. I'm glad that we got to do it.
And go do that.
Yeah, it was
but listen,
y'all.
Fun. The Saints, break it down. We have to play football. I don't want to hear home field. We won every game, and
1 minute, Dad. 1 minute.
They cannot let up. Carolina wins games at the end, Lane. They win at the end.
They wear you out. Okay, real quick. Final score predicted right here. Saints, Panthers. Who gets it?
Like I said, when the Saints 30, Carolina 27. Okay, I don't think it's going to be high. I don't.
That's pretty high scoring, but
well, I'm talking about a shootout.
Well, I'm gonna say here, Saints got one of those losses that could go either way Monday night. Either it could kill your momentum and destroy your season, or you could do like the Giants used it when they got blown out on Monday night by the Saints, conveniently enough. It all depends. If you lose tonight, it could have a huge impact on the Saints. Have to win tonight. If you lose tonight, not only do in a matter of 2 weeks, you lose what you did, but Dad, they won't even be leading the division anymore. They will drop all the way down to the wild card spot.
Make or break, y'all. Tonight is
they
make
will
or
drop
break.
all the way down to the 5 seed.
That's right.
This is everybody enjoy the game.
Man. Give me a score.
20-17 Saints.
Really?
This will be a battle tonight. This will be a battle tonight. Guys, thank y'all for listening. Enjoy the game. Monday Night Football tomorrow night. Dallas. Chicago. Yeah, Dad, great show. We'll get with you later on.
Thank you, my boy.
Thanks for listening.
Thank y'all for listening to Cajun Sports Radio.
You're listening to Cajun Sports Radio with Coyote and Lane.